So after 4 or 5 nights, I've left Starvation Park. Starvation State Park is a really nice place. It's got great campsites, and my definition of a great campsite is one that is pretty much on the water and near water level. That allows me to easily get my kayak into the water, so that's been great. You're watching me drive now towards a place called Camelot. We just made a turn off of Route 40, which is the main east-west route here through the Uintas. And we're turning down a road and heading down a road, and I'm going to give you a long stretch on this, heading towards a place called Camelot. It's interesting. By the time you see this video, in all likelihood, Camelot will have been sold. The owners who had it for 25 years are selling it, and the new owners I know nothing about. What I can tell you is the physical property is about 6 miles down this road. I think it's called Strawberry Road. The turnoff, by the way, if you do follow this, is just west of mile 66 off of 40. And it's called Forest Road 41950. That's what's marked there. As you drive down here, you begin to see these walls, which will eventually be on both sides of the road. They are reminiscent of Bryce Canyon. It's layered rock, probably shale, I would imagine. It doesn't have the color that Bryce Canyon has, and you see the bicycle in the video now shaking a little bit. That's because the road has gone from pavement to dirt, kind of dirt rock combination. It's absolutely gorgeous autumn through this stretch. There is a river periodically you'll see off to the right that I drove this shortly after some pretty heavy duty rainfall that occurred during the last day or so of my stay in Starvation. And it affected this area too. This is only 20 or 30 miles away from Starvation State Park. And you can see the river there now. I was a little bit concerned that the river would have overflown, overrun onto the road, because there's only a couple of feet between the river and the road. But fortunately, it was okay. Very fortunately, because the deeper you head into this canyon, you can imagine any hope of cell phone access is dashed. So there's virtually no cell phone access at Camelot itself. And Camelot reminds me a lot of a summer camp. It's got cabins on the other side of the campground across a river. It's got a little bridge that crosses the river. It's got the owner's home on that other side of the river. It's really quite picturesque. I mean, there's a nice big hammock hanging around in the middle of the playfield areas, and there's it looks like a great place for families during the summer. I'm visiting, of course, at the end of September, and you'll see in a minute that I was the only person in there. You can see how tight this canyon is getting. I'm pulling a 38-foot trailer, and there were a couple of points where I'm thinking, am I going to get around this thing? Is that actually going to be possible? And it gets even tighter as we get in. You can now see the towers that are basically the gateposts entering Camelot. Now, Camelot itself, the campground area is a bit outdated. It's only 30 amp service. The 30 amp pedestals were not in the greatest condition. There's about 15 or 20 sites. All of them are very informal. You back into it, there's a picnic table. They do back up against the river. It's a gently flowing river. This is not much of a stream, so there wasn't too much to be heard at night. The bubbling of the water was minimal, unfortunately. But I was also there during a windy, chilly period, so I didn't have the windows wide open. This turn here, when the first time I came down the road, I actually stopped there to make sure that was the right way in, because I, at that point, was borderline shell-shocked as I had driven through the dirt road in a narrow canyon. Wait till you see this next turn coming up. This is quite an experience for, again, taking a 38-foot fifth wheel through here. But we're about to turn in through the gate to get ourselves into Camelot. Here comes that turn. So it's probably a, I don't know, 280-degree turn. It's wide enough. I mean, I was able to do it. It's just, well, again, when you're pulling a 38-foot trailer, and for those of you who follow my videos, and if not, get over to rvacrossamerica.net, you'll see that I am thinking about a new trailer, and I'm thinking about something that will be a bit shorter. So it's not quite as ridiculous as this. But we're now crossing the last bridge and making the last turn practically to get into the campground itself. It's basically a big open field, and again, this was good for a couple days. There is good fishing in the area. There's hiking in the area, although the fishing is better than the hiking. And you can see that I had already set up camp. I was driving at the moment just without the trailer, but this was a repeat run from having had the trailer a couple hours earlier. Absolutely spectacular between the autumn scene, and you can see the canyon walls not far behind my trailer. And you can see how busy the place was as we turned the curve. I was the only camper there. This is now a couple days later. I've left Camelot. It's worth a visit. It's definitely an interesting place, and again, great fishing. You're seeing your first shot of Strawberry Reservoir. We're up at 7,600 feet now. And Strawberry Reservoir would have been a great place to visit. This is turning off 40, again 40 is the main conduit, onto the Strawberry Reservoir entrance road. You'll see in a moment their idea of a sign for the marina. You can stop the video and you'll see momentarily that it doesn't even mention that there are campgrounds there. So I actually went, I don't know, several miles beyond in getting out to where I was headed. When I did drive past the entrance to the marina and the campgrounds, I was treated to this beautiful autumn scene. You're driving again up around 7,700 feet. And I should say Strawberry Reservoir is a great place. I definitely recommend it. The reservoir itself was down about 30% from its optimal height, and that caused me to be way far away from the campsite itself. This is me now approaching Jordanelle. But just to wrap up, Strawberry is a great place, but the phone access is pretty limited, I'll say that. And here's Jordanelle, and I'll have more on that soon.